transplant area I've set up in my garage. I want to show you some of the components that we've used to create it. First, there are two shelves. These were purchased at a big box store. Suspended from the upper shelf is a 4-foot length of shop work light. It has LED lamps in it. You could also use fluorescent. It's suspended from the top shelf with a chain link. Another important component of the system is this heating pad. And the heating pad is a propagation mat that keeps the temperature in the root zone about 10 to 20 degrees above ambient, which is really important for me because I have this set up in my unheated garage. And in February, my garage is about 40 degrees, 45 degrees. And this keeps the temperature in the root zone at about 50 to 55 degrees. Now I want to show you some of the control systems for the light and for the heating pad. So the light is connected to this timer. It's kind of a Christmas tree timer or a timer you might use on a lamp. And right now it's set at 13 hours of light and 11 hours of darkness. Over here we have the controller for the heat pad. And it's actually set at 70 degrees, although right now it's reading 67.8. And it works like the thermostat on your furnace. And it keeps the temperature at about 70 degrees, but sometimes it's a little higher and sometimes it's a little lower. It senses that temperature with this probe that you put in the soil where you're growing your plants. Now I'm going to put some of the plants that I've been growing up on the shelf so you can see how it all kind of fits together. These are plants that I started, about maybe 10 or 15 days ago. It's some kale, it's some lettuces, it's some Chinese greens. And because they're relatively short plants, I have the light very close to them. I have the light fixture all the way down to the bottom of these chains from which the lamp is suspended. Now here, I pointed out earlier that I have some tomato plants actually growing. It's some seeds that I planted just a few days ago. And by the time they're ready to leave this area, they could be 5 to 6 inches tall. And so one of the nice things about having a chain is that you can raise the light as the tomato plants grow. So by the end of the time when the tomato plants are on this heating pad, the chain will be about half the length that it is now. So there'll be plenty of room for my plants to grow. One other component I'd like to show you is this insulated pad that I have underneath the heating pad. And it helps retain some of the heat. You could also use cardboard, or you could use a sheet of plywood. In addition to help retain heat, I've added some bubble wrap around the outside. And that helps, especially in the colder days, to keep some of the heat inside where the plants are actually growing. So with this system, you can get a couple weeks head start on spring with your plants. I often start plants around the 1st of February, my cold season things like bok choy and kale and some lettuces, and then I transplant them about the 15th of March. My tomatoes, I start about the 1st of April, and they'll be ready to go in the ground under this system about the 10th or 15th of May. So with that, that's how you can get a jump on spring by growing transplants in your own garage.